Hi, Hallie. It's Aunt Nissa again. Here we go. Summer of the Monkeys. One little monkey, bolder than the others, left the bunch and got started over toward my traps. I reached for my gunny sack and got ready. Just when I thought for sure that the monkey was going to walk right into my trap, that same loud cry that I had heard before rang out through the bottoms. As if the cry were some kind of signal, the monkeys stopped chattering and stood still. The one that I had thought was going to get into my trap hurried back to the bunch. Excuse me. I could tell that whatever had made him cry was much closer now than it had been before, and I didn't feel too good about it. "Rowdy," I whispered, "you keep your eyes open, and whatever it is that's squalling like that, don't let it get too close to us." The way old Rowdy was sniffling and looking, I couldn't tell whether he was mad or scared. This didn't help me at all. I put a lot of confidence in old Rowdy, and if he was scared, then it was time for me to be getting away from there. I was trying to make up my mind what to do when I heard the cry again, and this time it was so close it made my eardrums ring. My hair flew straight up and felt as if it was pushing the top out of my old straw hat. The noise was coming from above me. I started looking around in the treetops. On the limb of a big sycamore, I saw something. At first, I thought it was a boy. It looked just like a small boy standing there on a limb. I wondered what he was doing up in a tree, screaming his head off. Maybe he had climbed the tree and couldn't get down. I had done that several times, and Papa had had to come and help me down. Then again, he might be a crazy boy. Daisy had told me that crazy people did all kinds of things like that. I forgot about being scared and got kind of mad. "Rowdy," I whispered, "I don't know if that's a boy or not, but if it is, he sure is messing things up for us. If he keeps on screaming like that and scares the monkeys away, I'm going to wear him out." Just then, the thing moved out on the limb into some sunlight, and I got a better look at it. I could see that it wasn't a boy, but it was some kind of black, hairy animal. It had short, stubby legs and long arms that hung down almost to the limb it was standing on. When I discovered that it didn't have a tail, I didn't know what to think. I had never seen an animal that didn't have a tail of some kind. It was too far away to tell what color its eyes were, but I could have sworn they were as red as our old red rooster. Anything that had red eyes always did scare me. Goose pimples jumped out all over me, and my old heart started running around inside me like a scared lizard. "Rowdy," I whispered in a shaky voice, "that's an animal all right, but I never laid eyes on anything that looked like that before, and I don't like the looks of it." I had just about decided that my monkey catching days were over, and I was getting ready to get away from there when I remembered what my grandpa had told me about that $100 monkey. He said that it looked different than the other monkeys, and that thing I was looking at sure didn't look like those other monkeys. Just then the big monkey let out another cry and started running to the end of the limb. He leaped high in the air. I was so startled by this I stood up. I thought sure that he had sprouted wings and was flying away. Instead, he lit on the branches of the bur oak tree. Using one of those long arms, he started dropping down from limb to limb and landed on the ground between the little monkey and my traps. This all happened so fast that it left me a little bit breathless. I thought squirrels could move around in the timber, but they couldn't do anything like that monkey could do. Every move he made was sure as Daniel Boone's musket and as smooth as the dasher in Mama's old churn. All the time this had been going on, the little monkeys hadn't made a sound. They just stood there in a bunch, watching every move the big monkey made. About that time, one of them decided that as long as there was some apples around, he may as well have one. He left the bunch with his skinny tail sticking straight in the air and started toward my traps. The big monkey saw this and went all to pieces. He started jumping up and down and making deep grunting noises as if he were talking to the little monkey. The little monkey seemed to understand what the big monkey was saying. He squealed like someone had stepped on his tail and scurried back to the others. It was hard for me to believe what I had seen. Yet it was as plain as the stripes in a rainbow. That big monkey had known that the little monkey was in danger, and in his monkey talk he had told him so. "Rowdy," I whispered, "did you see that monkey was doing? He was talking to that little monkey. That's what he was doing. Grandpa didn't tell me they could talk to each other." as if he were proud of the fact that he had knocked me out of a $2 reward. The big monkey then did something all that caused me to swallow my Adam's apple. Looking straight at my hiding place, he peeled his lips back, opened his mouth, and let out another one of those squalls. And when he did, I got a good look at his fighting tools. I thought that our old mule had big mouth and teeth, but they were nothing compared to what that monkey had. To me, it looked as if you could have thrown a pumpkin straight down his throat and never scratched the peeling on one of his long teeth. "Holy smokes, Rowdy," I whispered. "Did you see those teeth? You better think twice before you jump on him. He could eat you up, collar and all." Old Rowdy didn't seem to be the least bit scared. If I had said sick him, he would have torn out of those elders like a cyclone. He may have taken a whipping, but there would have been a lot of monkey hair flying around while it was going on. I didn't have to worry about the big monkey jumping on us. Instead, he turned, still making those deep grunting noises. He walked up within 2 feet of a trap and stopped. For several seconds, he just stood there, looking at the apple and all around at the ground. He kept making funny little noises, as if he were talking to himself. The strain was almost more than I could stand. My insides got all knotted up, and I felt like I was going to bust wide open. If the monkey hadn't done something about then, I think I would have. But instead of stepping in my trap, he just reached out with one of those long arms, took a hold of the apple, and pulled on it until the nail came out. Holding the apple in his paw about like I would if I were eating one, he opened his huge mouth, took one bite, and tossed what was left to the little monkeys. This caused a loud commotion. The little monkeys started fighting over the apple. I had never heard so much squealing and chattering. In no time there wasn't as much as a seed left. I sat there as if I were frozen to the ground and watched that big monkey walk all around the burrow, taking the apples and never stepping in a trap. One bite from each apple seemed to be all he wanted, and what was left he tossed to the little monkeys. When the last apple had disappeared, the big monkey did something that made me wonder if I wasn't seeing things. He started turning somersaults and rolling around on the ground. At the same time, he was making the bottoms ring with a peculiar noise that he hadn't made before. Now, I had never heard a monkey laugh, and I didn't even know if they could. But as I sat there watching the capers of that big monkey, it didn't take me long to figure out what he was doing. He was laughing at me. I was sure of it. I even remembered the dream I had about the $100 monkey, how every time he came leaping by he would stop and laugh at me. The little monkeys seemed to know that something funny was going on. They started screeching and chattering like a bunch of squirrels in a hickory nut tree. My neck and my face got all hot. I knew I was blushing, but I couldn't help it. That was the first time I had ever had a monkey laugh at me. I looked at old Rowdy. The way I was feeling, if he had been laughing, I would have taken a stick to him. But Rowdy wasn't laughing. He was just as serious about catching those monkeys as I was. All at once, the big monkey stopped making a fool out of himself and turned to the little monkeys. Uttering a couple of those deep grunts, he seemed to rise up in the air like a fog off the river and disappeared into the branches of the bur oak tree. The little monkeys followed him, zip, 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 one behind the other. After the monkeys had all disappeared, it got so still around there you could have heard a grasshopper walking. I looked at Rowdy, and Rowdy looked at me. "Did you ever see anything like that, Rowdy?" I said. Grandpa was right when he said that monkey was smart. But I didn't think he was that smart. Why, he knew all the time that we were here, and he sat right up there on that sycamore limb and watched me set my traps, and then he stole all of my apples and laughed at me. Now, how do you like that? Oh, Hallie, I'm just really enjoying this story, and I'm glad that I get to have some time with you. I love you so much, and I promise I'll send more videos this week. Okay? I love you. Bye-bye.